Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello! Welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you'd like, Super Dave 817. Thank you for joining us today in our efforts to complete all the classified figure reviews. We are now on to 87 Clutch. This is going to be a really interesting one. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us today. So Clutch is basically the first G.I. Joe. He's really the green shirt G.I. Joe before there was a term green shirts. He's was the character that they used for all the merchandising when they started GI Joe in '82. If you go back and you look at all the coloring books and you look at all the merchandising with watches and lunch boxes and all this stuff, sleeping bags, sheets, you name it, Clutch was that character, that figure, that representation for the G.I. Joe team at the time. And so he is basically G.I. Joe for G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, until they brought in Joseph Colton in, I think it was 87 was when Joseph Colton was brought into G.I. Joe. And that was the original G.I. Joe from the 60s and the Adventure Team in the 70s. So Clutch was our green shirt. He was our G.I. Joe, and he represented the brand for many years in that capacity. So we're going to go into the history of Clutch. And first, we're going to go to Dan Klingsmith's series of books, Creating the History of G.I. Joe. Here we go. And that is number 6, volume 6, Creating G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, by Dan Klingsmith. Good morning, Michael Jean Fleming. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. So there's a few pages of Grunt ideations, because he was basically the first Joe. He was our first one that we got. So there's 3 or 4 pages with stuff on Clutch. So we got page 1. So I'm going to go through all these pages one by one so you guys can see everything that's on there. So let's read a little bit about what they say here first. Grunt, alternate names, N.A., year release 1982 and 1983, respectively, for the straight arm and the swivel arm, designed by Ron Rudat. Of course, Ron Rudat would have designed Grunt because he designed all the figures from 82 to 87 and most of the vehicle drivers during that time frame. So wearing a sweater that resembled a British commando sweater, Ron Rudat, produced product designer, designed Grunt as an infantry trooper when designing Grunt's harness and helmet. Ron shared that he referenced military equipment they were utilizing at the time. So we're going to read a little bit about Grunt here. Infantryman, codename Grunt, real name Graves, Robert R. WSN, primary MOS infantry, secondary MOS small arms armorer, artillery coordinator, POB Columbus, Ohio, place of birth, in grade SP4. Subject was apprentice gunsmith in hometown prior to enlistment, familiar with all NATO and Warsaw Pact small arms as well with domestic civilian arms, graduated BCT, Fort Jackson, top of class, graduated AIT, Fort Benning, top 10, specialized Ed classified, qualified expert M14, 16, 19, 11A1 auto pistol. Expert from psychological profile Lieutenant Colonel J. Peters, U.S. Army Med Corps, a highly motivated, systematic individual with no apparent ambient hostility, does not enjoy his work. This is a favorable assessment, but believes it is the best interest of his country. Fear personality assessment, SP5 Wilkinson, Alonzo R. Grunt, not what you'd all super strike trooper, but the man is stand-up guy, doesn't blow his cool in a firefight, and he don't get on your nerves with diddly squat. Know what I mean? Could have gone through Ranger School standing on his head, just didn't want the bother. Hey, I heard he was accepted for West Point Prep and turned it down. Now that's an excel in my book. So that's a little bit of a bio on Grunt. Now here's a few more pictures of Grunt. Some more reference material and turnarounds. Now that one over there that's on the card art, that's basically the art that a lot of the merchandising and companies, when they license G.I. Joe to do products, they use that piece of artwork that's above the card art right there. That's the primary art that you see on him. And the G.I. Joe Club from a couple years ago, they used that piece of artwork and they modernized it for a new generation and updated it. It's very similar to the new classified figure. And so here's some sculpting and heads and legs and things like that for Grunt. And so that is all we have for Grunt. So you can see there was a lot of planning. He was the first Joe, and they wanted to make sure they got him right. And they worked out all the kinks and stuff like that before they got to him. So then we have his original package. And you kind of saw it. I showed it a little bit earlier. But this is the original package for Grunt. Original green shirt. And he has a couple of pieces of equipment, a rifle, helmet, and a backpack. Lone Dragon, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Saying hi before I head out to the gym. Hope you get a big package today. Thank you very much. I'm sure I will. And that's fine. But thank you. You can listen along at the gym. I appreciate it. And so then, his first appearance, Crusty Old Crow. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in the chat today, Crusty Old Crow. His first appearance in the Sunbow Real American Hero, issue 1, G.I. Joe. You can see him jumping off that tank right there, center stage. Grunt is a really cool character. He was kind of outside my fandom because I started in '83, basically the beginning of '83, like around January, because of my birthday. That's where I got my first Joe, was Destro, and I think I got the Fang and a Cobra Trooper for my birthday. And so that was when I started. So here is thought there was a piece of artwork on here, but I guess there isn't. So there's no artwork. I thought there was on issue 1, but it's other Joes, so we don't have to worry about that. And then, of course, all the main Joes in animation, they got kind of their first appearances. Sunbow, the first miniseries, the Mass Device, but they weren't really, a lot of them weren't really named. I think Flash might have been, Zap might have been, definitely Stalker, Scarlet, Snake Eyes were all named in the first Sunbow miniseries. I don't know if Grunt was named. I know he's in there, but I don't know if he was named or not. But that was his first appearance. So, and then I think I forgot to mention that Lowlight's first appearance in Sunbow was Arise, Serpentor, Arise. yesterday when we did low light. I forgot. So then we're going to get to number 87, and that is Grunt. You can see he's got that no nonsense, everyman type grimace there. He looks like he is a regular guy, and that's what he's supposed to be. He's an everyman, Grunt is. Bobby World, thanks for joining us in the chat this morning. There was some kind of deal where I only paid 12 something for Grunt at Target. Well, good for you. I'm glad you were able to get them at a discount. That happens sometimes. People get stuff at discounts sometimes. I got one of the upcoming vehicle and figure sets that I'm going to be doing a review here in a little while on. I got that cheaper. I got it for like, I think, $39.99. It was supposed to be like $45 or $50. So that happens. Depends on what that store's got going on. Sometimes they put stuff on clearance. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing in those stores when it comes to toys. Toys is a really big mystery when it comes to retail. A lot of places, they don't care about toys. They don't care about working toys. They just have someone go in there and fix it up and stuff like that. Stocking it, nobody knows what they're stocking. And nobody knows where all the exclusives are. Toys is a big mystery when it comes to retail because no one really cares about it. So if the people like us were working at these retailers and we focused in toys, the toy departments would be so much better off. That's where I got a lot of my retail experience, was working in the toy departments for Walmart and Target and Toys R Us. So I've worked in those departments and I've always taken care of those departments, but not everybody was like me or some of us that are out there in the chat. So let's see. We're going to go into his designations. Grunt's designations. We got boots, foot soldier. We got the one with the bullets. Let's see. Light weapons. So foot soldier, light weapons. We got the one with the fist, hand-to-hand combat, and then we have the one with the cannon. Let's see. I can't recall if I have. Yeah, I think I have. No, not that cannon. Let's see. Artillery. So there you go. So we have artillery, foot soldier, light weapons, and hand-to-hand combat. So that's everything you would expect with Grunt, because he's the front lines of G.I. Joe. He's like our green shirt type character. So then we have the targeting artwork there, and the QR code to nowhere, and then we have the cross cell on the back with all the accessories. He looks really cool just in that picture there. And then we have some little extra things that are going to be on the figure there, little highlights, and then your designations. And so then we got the figure photography by Shooting the Galaxy and Matt. So then we have that artwork, little cross cell there, and then we have this photography there, which looks really good. You can tell he's been upgraded. He's definitely classified up. There's a lot of new stuff with this figure. He's not your traditional Grunt. Well, we went over his other stuff, but we forgot to go over his O-ring figure. Let's look at the O-ring figure. So then we'll have an idea why his classified is so upgraded based on what we have. And I have all of his accessories here. And again, as a vintage OG-13, I have the straight arm version. Most of my OG-13 are straight arms. So you can see he's got a little bitty paint wear on his hair and a little bit on his chest there. So then we have his backpack, his little bitty backpack. We'll put that on his back there. And then we have his rifle. And thankfully, on this one, a lot of the OGs, the thumbs get taken out because of the weapons. So that's the same with this one. So I'm not going to be able to put his rifle. He's got an M16 rifle. I'm not going to be able to put that on him because his thumbs are gone. So there you go. A lot of these figures, their thumbs are gone. But I can put his backpack. He's a little loose as well. He's not that tight. and his helmet. So there's your Grunt. Because of that fact that he's loose, I'm going to stick him back in his little package here, and then we will get on to his classified figure. There you go. Put him over there. All right, so back to him. So based on his photography artwork, he's got I don't know if that's a dragonfly back there, or it's definitely a helicopter, Joe helicopter, and I guess that's another helicopter that's crash landed there. There's a bunch of smoke. It says CM in the sand. I don't know what CM stands for. Do you guys know what that CM stands for in the sand here? But that's all the photography that's in the photography from what I can tell. So we're opening this for the very first time. We've started with our Snake Eyes 00, and now we're up to 87 Grunt. We've also done 11 vintage package figures, and so odds and things like the Fortnite and the running variants. So if you have any questions on any of those, just put it in the chat. I'll be glad to talk about that. So then we have his weapons crate or weapons locker, whichever you'd like to call it, Robert Grunt Graves. So that's his full name, 87, and the stars and stripes and those handles there on the top. So we'll put that over there for now. And then we have this figure. Now, based on the vintage figure in this, the vintage figure is a lot lighter than this. This is darker than this. So it seems like when they do these, they do a much more muted color scheme. And I've noticed it on a lot of the figures. I don't know if it's the plastic or if it's the just the fact that they want it to be more realistic or what. But you would think that Grunt, being the first G.I. Joe, he would be identical to his vintage, but they veered from the vintage and they changed the color scheme to a darker color scheme. And so now we're going to be getting a OG green shirt. So I wonder if that's basically your OG Grunt. I'll be curious when that comes in, what that looks like. Because I think it should have been Grunt. He should have been your OG green shirt, right? What do you guys think? You think Grunt should have been the OG 13 green shirt that they're doing, or do you like the fact that they're doing the green shirt by itself with different ethnicities and stuff? So there, and then we have the artwork, interior artwork, and it's that face again, that serious grimace there. So we'll put that over there. So there's your figure. So just kind of looking at it, compared to the vintage, he's got a lot more gear, way more gear than the vintage one has. New York Knights, 1974. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for joining the chat today. It's okay. You can be late. You can also catch this after the fact if you feel like. A lot of people do because I kind of go fairly early in the morning. I don't know if a lot of people are available at this time in the morning. But so as I was saying, so he's got the basic color scheme. It's just darker, right? He's got this little cool pad that they showed off on the package, a little scanner there that gives you a little bit of idea what's going on with him, and it's like attached to his secondary. So he has a secondary there. I believe this secondary, someone else was using it because I remember that little badge, a little badge. You guys remember who I had that had this secondary with the badge on it? I can't recall. And he's got a sheath on there. It might have been one of the Snake Eyes. No, not Snake Eyes. I can't remember. You snagged a whole case of Grunts, New York. from my local Target when they had them at $11 each. Wow, good job for you. Michael Gene Fleming. I believe there was an issue at the comic where Snake Eyes was wounded and drew CM in the sand for continue mission. The art may be reference to that. Maybe Grunt was on that mission also. Well, there you go. I did not know that. Thank you, Michael Gene Fleming. You are a wealth of knowledge. You always give something new in the chat that I did not know. So I was not familiar with that particular thing reference. So thank you very much for letting me know that. So yeah, this secondary, I think it's from another figure. I can't recall which figure it was. We've gone through so many figures, but they have a sheath on there. They have that badge. They have a lot of secondary. Like he's got this pouches here with some ammo. He's got another pouch secondary on his other leg. His both left and right legs have secondaries. His waist also has another secondary with a holster on the left. And there's a little pouch with another whole sheath on the back. So he has a lot of places to put stuff. 1, 2, 3 places to put stuff. I like the military aspect of his real life boots too. They got the straps and the shoelaces on the boots, everything. And there's been several figures that have had that, but his looks much more realistic, much more basic military too. So there you go. He has a little bitty tampo on the front there, a U.S. flag tampo. I don't know if you guys can see that tampo right there on the front above that little pad. And then the pad has some really neat detail, computer detail and stuff like that on the front of it. And so does that secondary. It's got all kinds of different color decos, browns, greens, blacks, the little badge, the flag. So they really did a good job with adding extras to this figure. And the face looks pretty good too. I think they did a pretty good job with that face print on him. He looks like an average Joe, right? He should be on the average Joe band if they do that. Even the pouches have some deco on it. The pouches have a little green deco on them like that. Pouches have little green bits of deco on there. And then on the back, his belt is also different colors, green and brown. And there's a little bit of, no, maybe not. I guess a little silver as far as the rivets go. But he does have that turtleneck up there. You can tell above his neck that he has that turtleneck shirt like the vintage one had. So they kept that, which I'm very happy about. And he's got some deco on the fists and the hands. He's got like those brown gloves with some green deco, and he's got some patches on the shoulders there, green deco as well. So they really went to town on him, giving him a lot of added details that most figures don't get, since he's like the OG G.I. Joe. They wanted to really do him up really well, and I think they did. I like it a lot. I think this is a really good figure just based on the figure itself, and I haven't even gotten into all the accessories yet. There's a lot of cool detail in the fatigues as well. I love when they do the layering and everything like that on them. It looks really, really cool. So, all right, so we're gonna put him over here for now, and then we're gonna open up his weapons crate, his weapons locker, see what he has. So we got our normal G.I. Joe Cobra package. So then we have our Gobbledygook and Legal Indicia. Put that back in there. Put that over there. And we'll get this open. We'll see what he has going for him today. All right. So he's got tons of stuff in here. All right, so You see his vintage helmet, right? This is vintage helmet. But look at this helmet they gave him. Now, just looking at this helmet, actually, this is a whole new head. This is not a helmet. This is a whole new head. And this head is future proofing for the line. So, based off of this head, looking at this head, I could tell you what is coming down the road, and that is steel core, because that's the steel core head. And it's green. It's the same color as Grunt. It's got a ventilator, a black, silver mouthpiece with gold eyes there. So it is really, really cool. I love these steel core heads. There's some little radio details on either side there. But yeah, so he gets a second head, and it's basically the steel core head from what I can tell. Now, we don't have the steel core yet in the line, so they were definitely planning ahead with the steel core. So let's see. 610 Yojo Daddy, thanks for joining us today. What's up, fellas? What's up, Super Dave? Y'all smash that like button. Yep. Everybody in the chat, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification button for future episodes. Most of you guys are always in the chat, so I'm guessing you must already have that notification. But sharing is caring right now. We want to grow the channel as much as we can. I don't expect we're going to get into the millions or thousands or whatever it is that a lot of the channels, but it'd be nice to get up to maybe 1,000. That's a nice, comfortable spot. So share these videos if you can. I share them in a lot of groups, and I hope that's where most of you guys have seen this. But I'm not in every group, and I'm not able to share them all the time. So I share them when I can. So then we have this. It looks like a cool airborne type helmet. We got one of these helmets. One of the other characters got a helmet like this earlier in the line. And there's all kinds of detail on that. It's got the straps. It's got some deco on those straps, brown deco. It's got that little chevron on the top there to show some of the technology that he has. And it's got some more detail on that side as well. New York Knights, 1974. I sent 2 of those grunts to Will R. and kept 2. One became my Steel Brigade because they weren't out yet. See, there you go. You were already thinking of the steel core ahead of time before that got released. So that obviously Hasbro, they did what they intended to do. They wanted you to fill that in as your troop, as your G.I. Joe troop, right? But then we ended up getting that, and it worked out perfectly fine. So then you ended up with an extra helmet. And I'll just say this, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but that steel core helmet gets a lot of reuse. So there's Grunt with his helmet on. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention that he has the normal head rocker articulation there. He's got the butterflied shoulders. He's got the double pinned elbows, the double pinned knees. He's got the thigh and the calf articulation on both of those. He's got the secondary with that crotch ab crunch and crotch and leg articulation. He's also got the secondary ankle and the foot rocker. He's got the regular, he's got the secondary wrist articulation, but he doesn't have the third one. He's got the moving one and the twisting one, but he doesn't have the one that's up here on the wrist. So he's got almost every part of articulation except for one, just one part, one point of articulation that a couple of the figures had in the line thus far up to 87. And he stands pretty good too. All right, so then let's see. That's cool that you're helping your your fellow Joe Bros. Everybody in the chat, if you have an opportunity to help your Joe Bros, if they're missing something, and you see it at a store, or if you got an extra one, or you can spare it, and don't gouge the person, be nice to them, and try to help a Joe Bro out. I think that's an awesome thing that you did there in New York, and I hope your friend appreciates that. And oh, Will R. Yeah, he's in the chat. So, or he sometimes is in the chat. Will R. So, that's wonderful. I'm very happy you can help somebody out. And so he's got this cool backpack. So this is definitely a different style of backpack to the vintage one. The vintage one was a teeny weeny little green backpack there, and this one's black and it has two little doodads. A lot of the new backpacks have these doodads on the side where you can add stuff to them to stow some of the gear, which I'm very, very happy they're doing that because I want to get all the gear on the figure. You know, as much as I like these weapons crates and these weapons lockers, I want to get everything on the figure. When I do get a figure, I want it to be able to get everything on there. So that's still standing. So then he's got the GI Joe, which is called the Sunbow rifle. This one's done in black, and it has the green butts on the side, on the edge of it, so it has that different color. So then he has the M16 that we've seen in the line as well. And since he had the M16 as a figure, vintage figure, of course they were going to try and give him his identical weapon, which is not always the case with the classified line. They don't always give figures all their exact weapons, so you have to mix and match and try to borrow weapons from people to give it to the classified figures. And I think as the line has gone on, they've been a lot better with that, trying to give the figure their accurate weapons, but it has not always been the case. So then you have a little weapons cartridge there. So let's see which one of these. I think it's his M16 gets that. There. All right, put that on there. So now that's good. And then he has a knife, silver deco, and black deco with the handle. There you go. Let's see. New York. I kind of had two. We've been friends for 40 plus years, and he reintroduced me to G.I. Joe via the classified line. I owed him for that. Well, there you go. That's awesome. So he brought you into G.I. Joe classified, and you paid him back by giving him a couple of figures to help him with his line. So this little knife goes in here. You can put it two ways. They have two sides to this. You can either go top or bottom. I'm going to go with like that. I don't know if that's good or not, but I kind of like it like that. And then let's see. So then he has his revolver there. So I'm going to put that in his holster there. Now that cartridge for his ammo, that's probably what that little spot there on his back is for, if you wanted to put that in there. So I have it on the rifle, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'm going to give him his vintage rifle that has that, and then I'm going to see if I can stick the other one on his back with his backpack in one of those notches that they provided. So there's his M16, his vintage M16 with him. And then let's see. So then we have this little spot, one of these spots on the back where we can put one of these weapons. Yep, goes right on there. Yep. So Grunt is basically complete. The only thing you can't do with him is put his secondary head on there. And he stands with all of his gear, which is really cool. That he has most of his gear except for that one head, and he's standing very comfortably. New York Knights 1974. That Stalker buck got a lot of use. Is that what that is? You think that's the Stalker buck? Because almost all the OG 13 are basic figures. There's nothing really a lot of fancy stuff with those figures. The Snake Eyes, uh, the the Grunt, the Zaps. Even to a certain extent, version one Hawk, any of those figures, Short Fuse, Grand Slam. No, maybe not Grand Slam. Trying to think of who else was in the OG. Not Steeler, obviously. Not Scarlet, obviously. But most of those guys that were the green shirts of that era all had that buck. They all had that collar. The uh, uh, what is it? The whatever collar there. I can't think of the exact word. But yeah, they all had similar. So yeah, they were going to use that buck a whole bunch of time, and they're using it for the green shirt as well, probably. Turtleneck, the turtleneck, I guess. Reading issue 112 in the Arak compendium while watching Great Day for Joe as is every day. Yes, 610 Yojo Daddy. You're reading the 112 in the comic book compendium. What is that? Volume 3, the new volume that got released of that is the paperback version, right? That got released, or is that the one that was the Kickstarter, the really thick hardback versions with all the extra stuff? I would not read those big ones because they're very expensive and the paper quality is really nice. I would get the paperback ones that are much more um, uh, readable, friendly paper and quality and stuff like that. Don't get anything on those nice ones. They're very expensive. So I would take care of those a little bit more. But if that's all you have, then that's all you have, I suppose. But so there's your Grunt number 87. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a really good figure? I think that's a very good upgrade to a character. That's the perfect line for upgrading of a character in classified. Upgraded it to classified scale. They kept it close enough to the vintage where you recognize the character and it represents the character properly, and it looks really cool. A lot of the detail and stuff are really cool. Um, I got the Kickstarter and reading through it very carefully with them. Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. Uh, 610 Yojo Daddy. Um, I only got the Kickstarter for volume one, and I got the Joe volume because I wanted the cards. There was a whole collection of cards, Joe and Cobra cards, because I have the comics like 3 or 4 times over in trade paperback, in floppies, and other ways. So the compendium was like my like fourth time getting the comics. So I was like, well, I'm just going to get the first volume, the first 50 issues in the Joe compendium so I can get the collection of cards. I really love those cards. They are beautiful. And they don't do cards that often. So I thought, okay. And then I got all the extra stuff because it included all the stretch goals and this and that. And so I got all that stuff with it. But yeah, I looked at mine and it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful. I hope they do some more stuff. I hope they maybe do a set of Devil's Due. I think if you guys don't have Devil's Due, you're missing out. There's some beautiful stories in that. There's some really good artwork. There's some excellent character development stuff like Devil's Due. I hope they do some Devil's Due. That went 7 years, so there's quite a lot of Devil's Due material too. And Larry did some stuff there. He worked on GI Joe Origins through Devil's Due. So there you go. But yeah, I love the compendiums. So what do you guys think of this Grunt? Do you think he's a really good upgrade? Do you think he represents G.I. Joe good for the line? What do you guys think of this little computer panel that they added? You like that computer panel? It's like a heart monitor or something like that. 610, Yojo Daddy. Grunt is phenomenal, and I got multiples to troop build with. Yep, see, that's the thing. He's a character that you can definitely do troop building with because he's got the IG head, the steel core head. I don't know. I keep forgetting that they changed the name um, from the original um, figure. What was the first version of it was called Steel Core, and I think this is called something else. I can't recall the exact differences in the name, but it was where the us fans as children could write in and create our own character, create a GI Joe, right? And so I love that. And they did a Cobra like that as well. I wonder if they'll do the Creator Cobra as a figure, like they did with this, as a troop builder. Maybe, I don't know. That's an interesting thing if they would do Creator Cobra. They did plenty of Creator Joes, and that helmet appears like 5 times over the line, as far as I can remember. But you know, but I think they did a really good job with this grunt. This is a really good upgrade. I think this they finally found that line, the proper line. And I know, like I said yesterday with Lowlight, that the line goes up and down depending upon the character. But I think they found the perfect uh, place for this version of this character. And if we got this where this figure was in the beginning with Duke, Scarlet, Roadblock, and Snake Eyes and stuff at the beginning, I think the line would have been really excellent. But there was a lot of ups and downs there for a little while for the first 20, 25 or so figures. But they finally hit their groove with 87, in my opinion. Uh, 610 Yojo Daddy. Steel Brigade was first. Valiverse has it now. Hasbro went to Steel Core for classified after losing Brigade to Valiverse. Yep, you are 100% correct. Thank you for that timeline and history lesson on that. I have a friend that's a really big Steel Brigade, Steel Core type uh, uh, person. He's got like dozens of them. He's got all the patches. He's got like 5 variations of it because there's like 5 different versions of that. When we get into that, it will be showcasing mine. And there's a little bit of a clue in this video right now. If you guys pay attention closely enough for the steel core, I will go over some of those variations, but I am not an expert when it comes to Steel Brigade, Steel Core, and so when we get to that, you guys are going to have to help me out. But yeah, there's a bit of a I wouldn't say controversy, but that there was a lot of reuse in the OG line because it was a mail away, and they just were using parts that they had available. So if they went through one, then they would go to another, and they went through another, then they would go through another. And there's five, maybe 5 variations of the Steel Brigade over the years. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to try to go over all the variations. I'm going to get some of my reference books to learn more about the different versions. That little screen on his vest is real and called a tactical and end user device. It's pretty much a durable smartphone, but spec ops use in the field for numerous things. Thank you very much, New York Knights, 1974. I appreciate that. My knowledge of real life of military technology and equipment isn't that great. That's a little bit of a deterrent on me. I try to do my best when it comes to that stuff, the real life military stuff. So thank you for letting me know that in the chat and letting everybody else know that in the chat. We appreciate it. So um, there are people that are much better with that military stuff than I am, but I do what I can. So yeah, we're gonna be getting Steel Core is gonna be 7, I think 7 videos away. Well, knowing is half the battle. I think that's the perfect comment to end this video on. What do you think? Knowing is half the battle. Thank you very much. So let's see. We got number. We're gonna do two characters in our next video. They're one's kind of a new character, but it's kind of in a subgroup. Another one is a redeco. So we're gonna do those two in a video together, and then we have we're getting close to the 200 episodes, so you guys, we're going to do a special unboxing in that 200th episode. It's going to be a huge video because we're going to try to time this so it matches 100, number 100 in the classified line. If we can match 100 and 200 together, it'll be a really good synergy for us and the channel. And then we'll do another Street Fighter along with that. But that's going to be a huge video going forward. So I hope you guys were able to catch Toy Talk live yesterday. If not, you can catch it after the fact and watch it. It's on YouTube now with my co-host Terry Ruin and Dan Thompson. And thanks everybody for joining us for our 150 subs episode. That was really fun. We're going to be going live from a special location this week, starting on Wednesday. We're going to be doing 3 days in a special location. And when we get to that location, I will let you guys know in advance what it is. And then the pleasure is always a pleasure as always. Later, fellas. NJ Pagodi. Okay. Take care, New York. Thank you. Great show as always, Dave. Thank you, 610. I appreciate it. And so I think that covers all my stuff coming up. You guys got any questions on Grunt or anything before I clock out for the day, or any comments or anything that you want to add? I'm waiting for a huge item to come today. So if it comes today, I may end up doing another video later today. If this item comes, it's going to be something I've been waiting for. And it'll get me all caught up on all my classified items. I'll have everything thus far. And then they shipped out my Ghost Viper and Gyre technology from Walmart already. Did you guys get yours shipped out? I was amazed that they shipped mine out. It should be coming. So I look forward to getting that as well. So there's some really cool stuff still on the way. And when we get those, we'll let you know. I plan on doing a comic episode sometime. Maybe tomorrow afternoon, I might do a comic episode talking about a lot of the Skybound stuff that's been going on, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on with Skybound, and I want to talk about it. So we might do a comic book episode maybe tomorrow afternoon after our regular classified review. We may do a second episode tomorrow. So there might be an episode later this afternoon with this item that's going to come, and there'll be possibly 2 tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. So thank you guys again, as always, and we will see you in the next one. And this is OG13. We're getting closer to the OG13 with Grunt, and he's an awesome figure. So we have to go with Yo Joe.